So what I am mounting today is the Renogy 50 amp DC to DC battery charger and MPPT. I got this single unit because it does the alternator charging as well as the solar charge controller mechanism in one. I have a limited space and it also came highly reviewed. So as per usual, I've done all my research, a lot of research on how to mount this thing, and I have begun mounting it. So I'm going to take you through the steps required to install this. In its most simple form, I have to get cables from the solar panels into the MPPT part of this device, and then I have to get battery type cables to my house battery, but also, which is because it's going to charge them, but also to my service battery, which is the car's battery. So I'm going to show you how to do all that. So here you'll see my main electrical compartment. Okay, there's my batteries, my fuses, my grounding wires, all those bits and pieces. And here is the Renogy unit. Now I've just found a spot that works well in here. It's actually really good to have it near your house batteries, but do read the instructions. This is the pamphlet. Okay, mine is the 50 amp version of this, and as you can see, I've read through it and highlighted things that I need to know. This pretty much shows you what you need to do, shows you your fusing sizes, your wiring sizes, and here's an important part to start with. It says, for safety, always connect the ground, the negative first, and then connect the service battery positive, starting battery positive and PV positive respectively. And then before we start, here are our tools for the day. We have 4 AWG wire, which is what I need for the voltage, but also the length of the wires. So red and black, 4 AWG, wire cutter, lugs and shrink connector, crimping tool, and my A&L fuses. Then there's my instruction manual, and then there's my instruction list, and there's my gloves because I'm going to be connecting to a live service battery today, and I don't want to get electrocuted. So here we go. So I actually want to show you, this is the kind of process I go through before installing anything, because remember, this is all brand new to me. So I've got various videos, some from Renogy, which is their company manufacturer, some from one other guy who had some good information. I have links, I have images, and then I have install steps. Okay, I'm going to share that with you below, my install steps. Okay, where I literally go, and this is where I thought I only had this wire, so I've struck this out because I did this yesterday, which was the solar wiring. But in fact, what I should have done is start with number 1, the top right spot, the black negative wire to the black bus bar. Okay, but this is all the steps, and I'm going to post them in my description below so you can follow them. It goes all the way through to number 8. So actually yesterday I installed the 10 AWG solar wire first, but it's not connected to the solar panels yet, and it's got an on-off toggle here, okay, and it's off. But what I should have done is actually connect to the house batteries and to the service battery first. So I'm actually going to do that now. So this is the negative grounding wire, so I'm just tracing it through, all the way through here, to see the best position to put it. I'm always trying to make it tidy, my wiring cabinet. It's going in behind here, then it'll go up over here, and then over there into the black bus bar. And this is helping me to see how much cable to cut. So I'm going to cut that right there. And now I can just take this off and prepare the crimps. These, yep. Okay, 2 crimped ends. I must admit, crimping is something I find really hard. because of my hands. They can't grip things very strongly, so it's one of the things I have to be more patient with. Okay, that's them before the shrink stuff, and now we do that. Okay, now we just pop these over. I could have put them on first, but we're popping them over, and we're gonna, these are really good ones, these are gonna shrink them into position. So what I'm doing next is the bottom right positive out. Okay, so on my list here, number 2, it says a 65 amp fuse. Okay, and then to the positive bus bar. Okay, so I'm just measuring that up. Not so easy to work out the logistics here. This is what I'm doing. Okay, so the negative to the house battery or the bus bar is installed. The positive to the fuse and to the bus bar is installed. The solar panel with the cutoff switch is installed. And now we're going to do the input to the alternator and the battery on this side here, okay, which is the alt positive, they call it. And this is actually the trickiest part of the installation for various reasons. You've got to get to your service battery and your alternator or fuse. There's a few things I still need to work out. And also just because of the location of this, I've got to find a way to get this out of this cabinet and into my service battery. So that's where I'm at. Okay, so I've got to get that positive wire through to my service battery, which is under here. Okay, so to do that in the Sprinter van, and this is what this instruction manual's for, you have to pull this little piece off first. See this, it's pretty obvious. It's got a little battery sign on it, and there's a couple of Torx screws here that I am pulling out. Okay, I've already unscrewed that, and then we dismount this little piece. Okay, oh, and then we see how dirty it is beneath. The next thing is I'm going to pull out this whole mat. It should just pull out. So this is where we're at here, and under there is the service battery. Now before I do that, I have done a bunch of research on this. I want you to heed this warning here, okay? See if I can get you to see this warning. It says, important, always wait at least 10 minutes after engine stops before pulling off battery master switch to allow emission control system to complete cycle. What's that referring to? That's referring to this puppy here. Okay, back in here is the battery disconnect. Okay, it's just behind the accelerator pedal. Okay, and I'm just going to wait a few more minutes before I pull that apart because of the warning. And make sure you pull this panel off here. Okay, it just pops off here. Okay, there we go. So let's get some light in there. So see, there's a big black bus bar. I am holding the light so I can kind of point to it over there, and then this comes off it. You just press that little red button and you take it off. Remounted, it looks like that over there. And that little red button is what you'll pull on and off anytime you need to dismount the service battery. And so far, yeah. And the next thing when you're getting under your seat is you need to dismount that wire to your seat, which is the electronics to your seat and your airbag. I'm going to take this top off. It has a bunch of Torx head screws too. Just taking off this panel. Back to these Torx head screws, and then the panel just simply comes off. And this literally just flicks off like that. Whoop. Like that. Okay. So just want to show you my thought process where I'm at. So this is the one that is the positive that goes to the starter battery. Okay, it's going out through a hole in my cabinet. And then for me, it's basically going to sit out here. These wires are going to be held down at the back. It goes through to an A&L fuse. I'm showing you all this because this is behind the driver's seat. Okay, and then it's tucking in underneath the mat here. Okay, and hiding all the way, and then it's coming out through the other side of the mat. Okay, and then I'll show you from the other side where this goes to. And then this is going to come out here. Okay, and then it's tucked all in here, and then we'll go right there into the positive bus bar. Okay, so that's the red fuse coming in underneath the mat to the right of the driver's seat. So a lot of people haven't shown this piece, and I really wanted to make that super clear. And it's going to be all nicely tucked away. So whilst the power was off, I attached this 4 AWG wire to the service battery, and that runs back underneath the mat, under through there, and then back through here. Okay, to an inline fuse, and then back into the cabinet. This wire here, this little one here, is what they call the ignition wire, and this is gonna tell your DC-DC charger that your engine's on. And then you want that because you don't want it draining your service batteries all the time. So there's a little tiny 22 AWG wire here, and I just spent the last week researching where on heck this goes, and I've discovered it. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a first thing we're going to do is I got this little inline fuse, put a 2 AWG fuse in here. Okay, so that's what that is. Got a nice little top, keep it nice and safe and snug. It's going to protect this teeny little wire. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to insert that into the wire inside my battery banks, so that if it blows, it's easy for me to get to. So that's what I'm about to do now, is just put this in here on the inside of my cabinet. Okay, so there we have it. At that point, right, we've got our little inline 2 amp fuse, and then our line going out. I'm going to attach this to the wall here. And so now what I'm doing now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that into this cabinet. So this is the driver's seat, or what's underneath the driver's seat. I'm going to turn this around because it's going to look like the image that I sent you. So thank you to Sprinter Source Forum, which is amazing. It is this one right here. Some diagrams in here to show you which one we're looking at. So I'm going to put that through that little hole down there. If you can see that, there's a little hole down there, and I'm going to put it through that and thread it through and put an end on it and connect it to here. So here goes. Okay, so I've run the wire along with this other cable. I've run it through the left hand side of the driver's seat, in through the very bottom there, and coming all the way through here. Okay, and then I've put a little teensy weensy terminal connector on the end of this, and then that is going here. Really want you to see this because this took a lot of research. It's going to go to that right hand one, that tiny little lug there, this teensy one, teensy. This is a sensor wire. Okay, so that's where I'm about to mount this. Okay, it is wired into that position. Okay, it's nice and solid. It took quite a lot to get another nut on there. I did, and then I just close this up again. Okay, and that is done. Okay, so there's a tiny little button to the left of this ignition wire that you press until you get the right color here for your type of house batteries. Mine are lithium ion. That color is blue. This is in the manual. Okay, here. So make sure it's the right color, because it will be adjusting to the type of charge needs for your house batteries. So this is it with my engine on, showing the alternator is on, batteries are being charged. Isn't that cool? Okay, so this is after my solar panels have been mounted, which is fantastic. Showing the DC-DC battery charger and MPPT at full function. And then I think the final thing I'm going to be doing is mounting the BT2 Bluetooth sensor, but I'm going to be mounting all of my monitors this weekend.